Hello and welcome to this Gaming Face Punch podcast with the news. Joined by Babster. So
How we doing? How we doing?
We're doing all right. We're doing all right.
Good.
Doing all right. It's been a long week. I was up your neck of the woods. I didn't tell you that, did I?
Oh no. What
I was
part?
up your neck of the woods. Just outside the big B.
The big B.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Didn't go into it. I managed to avoid going actually into the big B.
That's probably for the best, really.
But yeah, I was there for like 2 hours and then I buggered off. So a flying visit. Anyway, as I always like to start these podcasts off, what have you been playing?
Ooh, I've been playing. Well, I say I've been playing. I've finished it now. Deliver Us the Moon.
Is that a DHL simulator game?
Oh, it's a very, very good game. It's a linear space adventure, and basically we've got a space station that has a superstructured lift that goes all the way down to the moon.
Mm-hmm.
Earth has run out of resources, and they are mining on the moon for helium-3, I think it is. And then that sends the power to Earth. And the game is all about why has it stopped working? What's happened?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
I've
played it for a couple of days and finished it.
Was it the other one I've seen is Deliver Us Mars?
That's the second part, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So,
how about yourself?
I've been playing Space Marine and Helldivers. So they've done some patchwork on Helldivers because Space Marine was coming out and oh my god, we got competition, we must do something. So they made all the weapons really effective again, which makes it fun. And I've been playing Space Marine 2, which is also awesome. Just it's like people go, this is a throwback to no, this is the way the game should be. Yeah, this is how you're supposed to do it. It's just I'm trying to get the knack of the hand-to-hand combat. Got my gunplays down to a fine tee, but my hand-to-hand combat I just need to get used to.
There's hand-to-hand combat in it.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah. When they get up close,
yeah,
deck them properly. You got a nice chainsword, yeah, and it's just. I know it's like kind of what's it? You had the Lancer, or whatever it was in Gears of War. They ripped the fucking chainsword off that from Space Marine, but it's just so satisfying when you execute one of the Tyranids. It's like. Just go through them with a beautiful kind of chainsword thing, and it just cuts them in half, or just stab them through the middle, lift them up, throw them away like they're nothing. It's great fun, and the swarm mechanic's fantastic. Just I've kind of been playing and replaying certain bits, so I've been like focused entirely on the Tyranid section, which is good. So fighting the Nids, I'm getting to the Chaos bit now. I get to fight proper Marines, proper Chaos Marines that can fight back. But yeah, I've been like pacing myself because it's not a long game, and I'm just trying to get as much enjoyment out of it as possible. I've got a friend who's desperate to play with me co-op, but
it's co-op. Okay.
Oh yeah, you can do it co-op. So you got co-ops. You've got co-op story mode, and then you've got co-op. What do you call it? Co-op like special ops missions, like when you had Modern Warfare 2 and you had like the ops that you could do there in 2-player. They've got that too. So I think there's one example you have to go and blow up a oil depot to stop the Tyranids from getting too close to the facility that you need to retrieve some data for this Magos person. And yeah, it's good. It's everyone goes, it's a throwback, but it's just how games should be. You feel big and powerful, and it's not got too many cut sequences in it. It's literally here's cut sequence. You got it right. Okay, just go shoot shit quick. Yeah, do it for the Emperor quick, and then you're just fighting everything, and it's great. It really is great. The downside is it's not enough of it. So I've been pacing myself slowly, just like eating a birthday cake over the course of a month.
This is what happens when developers don't follow any agendas. Make money.
Oh,
People want.
there was there were a couple of news stories. Oh, crikey, I've gone into drunk mode. There's a couple of news stories where the devs were getting in trouble because they were like, we just wanted something manly, you know, stoic individuals fighting things, lots of testosterone,
There's nothing wrong
lots
with
of
that.
kind
There's
of
nothing wrong with that.
glory kills. Yeah, I know. And that's the bit. It's been Saber Interactive's biggest game they've sold, so they're already looking at doing a sequel to it. And they haven't even. I don't even think they've finished sorting out their DLC and bits that they were arranging for it. But I want some. I want some more enemies in there. I want to fight the. I want to fight the Necrons. I want to fight the. Have another go against the Orcs. Wouldn't be too bad. The Eldar would be good. The variety of bloody chaos things you can fight would be fantastic. So you get your four types of chaos. You get your Zinch, the Slanish, Nurgle, and Corn, or whatever it is. So you've got the four of them. That would be fantastic. I wouldn't mind beating up on the Tau, but I don't think there'd be much. There wouldn't be much. I know they're not much. They're like squishy opponents who aren't very useful. But yeah, it's fun. It's good. It's a really good game. I recommend it. I really recommend it. If you played the first Space Marine and you enjoyed that, you're not going to be disappointed. If you didn't play the first Space Marine, why not? It was a really good game. Really good game. Jump packs in it. Yeah.
I think I own it on the 360 and never played it. It was one of those I just acquired games.
Oh, sacrilege.
So
sacrilege.
Sounds like I need to play it.
Does sound like you need to play it. Anyway, we're here to talk about some news stories. So, let's go on with the news. Nintendo's Switch 2 confirmed, launching sooner than you think. It looks like the Nintendo Switch 2 is not just real, but closer than ever. A recent report suggested that Nintendo could be dropping the next-gen console as early as March or April 2025. We're going to break down what's there, because there's a few points in there. There's been a few things with the manufacturers and whatnot. But yeah, I'm excited. I was going to get a Switch, but I'm like going, I think I might wait for the Switch 2.
Yeah.
So,
well, you might as well now. I think
so,
I think it's going to be backward compatible. I think that's a given.
I think that is.
Yeah.
So what's it? So one of the things they've got down on the feature list is I'm going to say possible, or rumor controlled, possible magnetic Joy-Con controllers.
Okay. I know some people were having issues with the sliders, weren't they?
Yes, they were having issues with the sliders and whatnot. So yeah, they're having issues with the sliders and whatnot because it's just they put the thing in the wrong way round and jammed the thing in there, and that wasn't good.
That was it. Yeah.
So yeah, it looks good. I just realised I'm looking at the wrong page. Such a professional.
Thing is, though, we still don't know exactly what it looks like. I mean, I've seen some supposed molds of it, and it's supposed to look bigger screen. But
yeah,
I was kind of hoping for something else, if I'm perfectly honest.
So, during an appearance for the Spanish podcast, this guy claimed that the next Nintendo Switch console is done and will be ready, and the company Blade has access to the near final version of the hardware. So that this is always the way the dev kits out in the world, and we know that we get dev kits and stuff out in the world because when we get to like kind of the PS3, when the PS3 came out, we saw the dev kits for that, and we saw the dev kits for the 360 and whatnot. And we know that the dev kit for the PS3 was a fucking nightmare, which is something they worked on. And they did well on that, but they need to kind of
was that because
kind
of the
get better with a few things.
Is that because of the cell process?
It's ironic now because all the graphics cards work off that cell parallel architecture that they were pushing through. But again, they didn't support it. They didn't sort it out. They didn't, help these people out. But it looks like they're going to be, pushing bundles of the original Switch at Christmas. which will be supported by Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, which I think is having issues at the moment, which is something. That was one of the stories I was looking at. It's like kind of frame dips and whatnot. But yeah, it's looking for a simultaneous release March 20. Simultaneous release like the Switch. It's yeah. I don't know how true it is because sometimes you get these things and it's true, and sometimes you get it and no, it's not. But yeah, it's other people, other sources are also doing it. Nintendo's also hinted at this too, and we know from a previous story ages ago that they definitely were getting their sourcing in order for manufacturer bits. Which is always the kind of thing that kind of gives people away when they approach people like AMD is usually the common one they do, because apparently when they were developing the chip for the PS5, the floor down they were developing the chip for the Xbox X series, but none of them knew apart from the big wigs in AMD. So is it true? April next year?
Is that the launch you mean? April next year, the launch?
Yeah.
Possibly. Possibly. They've got to show it first, though, haven't they? Do you think we'll get that before Christmas? Should do, shouldn't we?
So...
With all these rumours.
No, I think they could do it after Christmas.
I think so.
It wouldn't be wise because you'd scupper the Switch sales before Christmas.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Because haven't they just done a refresh on the light?
The light? You mean like the backlight for it?
No, the Switch Lite.
Ah, the one that not many people like.
Yeah, I'm wondering if they've just done a refresh on that. But you're right. Today, the sales, as I know, the sales for Switch are still pretty good. The games are still coming out for it. People buying them.
I would say it's April, beginning of March. I think
that's Easter time, then, isn't it?
Yeah, Easter time. I don't think part of me says no. So right in Japan, kids tend to get big gifts towards the end of the school year. Yeah. So when their school year finishes, if you've done well, you get a big gift of sorts. So a PlayStation, Dreamcast, new Nintendo Switch. Okay. I don't think my gut tells me it's not April.
So what are you thinking?
I'm thinking it's going to be. I think it's going to be like September-ish next year. I think it's going to get announced in April.
Okay.
But it's going to be hinted at. Sorry, let me rephrase that. It's going to be hinted at April, announced in June, released September, maybe pushed to November.
Because they've already shown off Metroid, which I thought was going to be a release title for the Switch 2. They showed Metroid off about 3 months ago, didn't they? 2 or 3 months ago.
Yeah.
But that just looked like it could just run on the standard Switch. So does that mean there's going to be a Switch 2 version of it? A more enhanced version?
I don't know. It's I'll be honest with you, I haven't been keeping an eye too much on the Switch 2 stuff. I'm just waiting for them to say it's coming out. Get pre-ordered.
I've been really excited for it, but I think it's because I didn't want it to be a Switch 2. I just wanted it to be another Nintendo console.
Mm.
And I was kind of hoping for an under TV console again.
See,
I didn't want to switch.
Part of me's worried that it's going to be oh, crikey, you're not focusing. Part of me's worried it's going to be radically different from Switch. That's the thing, because that's what Nintendo like doing. Or it's not going to be enough and could cause confusion. Because that's what they did with the Wii U.
If it's radically different, then they've got to drop the Switch name, haven't they? It's just it's a Nintendo Switch because of all the different switch of plays that it can do.
But we're only calling it the Switch 2 at the moment. Remember, it was the Ultra 60. It was Ultra 64 before it was the N64. So yeah. And the Project Dolphin, I think they called it for the GameCube.
Yeah, Dolphin was a GameCube. Yeah.
Yeah. So
they don't do 2s. When have they ever done a 2?
They've never done a 2.
They've never done a 2.
Super Mario Brothers 2. That wasn't even. That was Doki Doki Panic.
They don't do number 2 consoles. They're not like Microsoft and Sony, in that respect.
I will lay any money that the next PlayStation will be the PlayStation 6. Easy. But the next Xbox will be the...
Oh, they're going to... I hope they confuse it even more. It'll be called the One X... Xbox One X.
I think it'll be called the Xbox X360. Just to confuse the fuck out of everyone. The Xbox Series X360.
We never got the 720, did we? We never got the 720.
Never got the 180 either. Turned directions went the opposite way. Why was the 180 not as successful? I don't know.
It's there in the bin.
All right, so let's move on to our next story. This is our favourite topic on our channel, and it's scalpers. It's bloody scalpers. The PlayStation 30th anniversary PS5 limited edition madness and eBay scalpers. The PlayStation 30th limited edition consoles are already turning heads, and not just for the exclusive design. Pre-orders sold out in minutes, and scalpers have been listing them up to £8,000 or around $100,000 on eBay, which is mad, absolutely barking mad. Oh, the other thing too is the little symbols, right? The little symbols down the bottom, where it's got it says triangle 30. It says triangle 30. Oh, it looks like they've written Xbox on the side of the console. Have you seen that?
No.
Okay. No. I'll find it in a moment. Let's just go through some of these things. So, you sent me something over WhatsApp. I think in regards to scalping of other sorts, maybe. But it's just the thing is this happens every time a new console comes out. It happened when we had the PS5s and the Xbox X series and the Xbox S series. So it's a weird thing because Sony don't like the idea of scalpers because it's money that they could be making. But at the same time, it keeps them in the news cycle, and it keeps them in people's minds, yeah? And it keeps people kind of engaged, and they're listening, and people talk about it. And hey, look, we're talking about it. But it's just absolutely barking mad. Let's see, look, can you see that?
My brother was in the queue to buy one.
Was it? Oh.
And they were gone within minutes. They were gone.
Yeah.
I was interested in the pad. I wouldn't mind a pad, but even the pad on eBay has doubled. Well, I don't know if is it doubled or tripled. I think it's is it 80 quid brand new? Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
70 quid. 70 quid for the dual sense.
Yeah.
I think the last time I looked, it was 180 quid on eBay.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't mind that.
And then you got the excessive controller, which I can't justify paying that for a fucking controller. Dude, it'd have to hoover my house to be worth.
I paid more than that for my Tron keyboard, though.
Did you?
But we won't go into that.
What the hell? Why?
Because it's Tron, and you can't get them.
But yeah, it's bad enough that the PlayStation Pro console, the Pro console is heavily what do you call it, marked up, and everyone's making a joke that the reason that the PlayStation Pro console is marked up is to cover the cost of Concord. So they need like £200 per console just to cover the loss that they made on Concord.
Hang on 1 second though. I know this is the anniversary one we're talking about, but PlayStation 5 Pro, you don't get a stand. You don't get a DualSense. Do you get the DualSense wireless controller?
Oh yes, you must. Yes, you've got to get one. Just the one though.
They do get one,
Only one
control. Okay, but you don't get a stand. You get a drive.
It depends which version you get.
Okay, so they're doing the digital and you get a drive.
So one smart ass on the internet bought his PlayStation Pro, and then he bought 8 drives, and then scalped the drives, because it's like you can get the console, but if the drive was like, I don't know what they're charging, a couple £100 for a disc drive. Sony's my I don't trust. It sounds odd. I don't trust Sony when it comes to digital stuff. I've got a story later about that. I don't trust Sony when it comes to digital stuff. I don't trust Nintendo when it comes to digital.
They've already turned off a few things, haven't they?
Yeah. So yeah, they've turned off a few things. I trust Microsoft more with my digital stuff than I do Microsoft.
I don't trust any of them. I don't trust any of them. Which is why when I see a particular game, if it comes out on the Switch, I'll buy the Switch version because it comes on a card.
Yeah. I was just hang on a second. Xbox on PS5. So I need to find this thing because it's when you see it, it was on PS5.
I mean that is just insane, absolutely insane. I mean, I watched. Is it Digital Foundry?
Yes.
And I was looking at the difference between the PS5 and the PS5 Pro, and it's just not worth the price tag.
No, it's not. It's
not a massive leap. It's not a massive leap. And I never felt as though there was a massive leap in the beginning with the PS5 over the PS4. It's took up until now that, yeah, okay, you could argue that you're getting some decent titles now, but for the Pro version, you could buy and build a decent PC with that money, and it'd be better than that, better than the PlayStation.
Well, that's. It's weird because I got the Xbox Series S and I had the Xbox One, yeah, but the Xbox One X to the Xbox S, there is like practically no fucking difference, yeah, but the PS4 to the PS5, there is a noticeable difference. It's not. It sounds really weird. It's not graphically. It's quality. Well, actually, it is graphically, and it's quality of life stuff too.
I don't think there was in the beginning. Well, let's face it. Let's face it. In the beginning, nobody could get one.
I got mine a day late, even though Amazon said they bloody delivered it.
Okay, then Keith couldn't get one.
That's because it's Keith. So it's I can't find an image. I wanted to find an image of this bit where you've got because down at the bottom they've got this little engraving of the PS1 kind of logo thing, but with 30 in it, and it looks like they've put the Xbox. They've written Xbox on the side of the PlayStation, which I find funny, but I can't find it anywhere. That's why I never included it. But yeah, it's. I hate scalpers. I really do hate scalpers. They're terrible. So yeah, that's that, and now I've got to find.
The thing is, what could they do? What could they possibly do to stop this?
Well, it depends. If it's one guy scalping one console, I don't think I got a problem with that. Not one guy scalping one console. If it's one guy scalping 30 consoles, then I got an issue.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because it's like, it's the one, because it was always this. So
Well,
I
you
had a
could go.
friend.
Let's face it. You could go on eBay now, right? Let's say you got hold of a console. You could go on eBay now, and you could undercut all them. You could sell yours for $2,000. You've made yourself a grand.
Yeah.
They're
Well,
just being
it's funny.
over greedy.
Yeah. It's
I'm
one of
not
those
saying
things.
that's right anyway, but you know.
So it's funny because I got a friend who got a Super Nintendo by scalping an FA Cup final ticket. So he bought FA Cup final ticket in when during the quarters, and his team made it into the semis, which is good. And then they lost in the semis, so then he sold the ticket on, and he made enough to get a Super Nintendo with a couple of games, which I found brilliant. So I'm not averse to doing it, but just the one, any more than the one, and that's when I start going, you're taking the piss. You're really taking the piss.
But it's the same. It's the same with tickets as well. Band tickets. You get exactly the same happen.
I hate getting what do they call ticket touts when you go to like a concert or something and you get approached by ticket touts. It's like, well, I took it to go and see so and so, so and so. It's like kind of
Buy or sell. Buy or sell.
I bought the ticket. I'm going to see them. That's why I'm here. Yeah, if I was wandering around like I didn't know where I was going, then that would make sense. But clearly, I'm heading towards the security checkpoint over there. I'm not looking forward to standing in the queue. But hey, you know, it's one of those things. Don't like scalpers. It's
No.
not scalper ticket touts. And scalpers, when you do it in bulk, one off is fine. Any more than that, it's a crime. There you go. It's a good saying. Let's move on to our next one. California law exposes the truth. You don't own your digital games. A new California law is set to change the way digital games are sold. Did you know when you buy a digital game, you don't actually own it? You're just purchasing a license to use it. Starting next year, storefronts like Steam, PlayStation will be required to state this clearly. Here, fucking here. That's the most sensible thing I've heard come out of California in what? 14 years. Madness. And it's, yeah. I like physical games. I bought an Xbox X Series X because I tried going down the digital route with the Xbox S series to see how I deal with that because I haven't got a 4K TV upstairs, so the point is getting a 4K bloody what do you call it, console for it, and it is you're licensed to use it, and I know that there's certain companies like Ubisoft. I've got a story on them later. Don't want you to own your games, which is terrible, and I don't get it. Make a product, release a product, sell a product, fix product if product doesn't work, yeah, or release product when it's in working condition. And I think it's great that now someone somewhere has said, hey, we need you to actually tell the truth, because there's lots of people who think they own their games, and I know that I don't own those games. And I know that with iTunes, I didn't own iTunes, courtesy of Bruce Willis, ironically. I didn't know I didn't own my iTunes and bits. So when I bought games, I've usually bought them with like loyalty points or like, this sounds old, stuff that's not like really properly money related, if that makes any sense.
This is why I tend to only buy games digitally now when they're on sale. I mean that
Yeah.
Deliver Us the Moon that I've been playing. I paid $4.99 for that. I played it, finished it. If they take that away from me now, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm not bothered. If you paid 60 quid for a game and they take it away,
Yeah. So it's not good. So the license versus ownership, the new California law, AB 2426 mandates that storefronts clarify that purchasing digital content means acquiring a license rather than true ownership. So they got an example here that's Ubisoft, ironically, Ubisoft pulling games from players. So I think the Crew's an example of this, where the Crew was out there. There were some people who really loved the Crew and God bless you. And they had their game taken away from them. Now I understand with a live service makes a bit more sense because you've got certain things, but I'm I like my single player experiences. I really do like my single player experiences. Single player or co-op. I'm not really too old for competitive stuff, and I do miss the what was it the banter that you used to get, which you don't get on games anymore because everyone's trying to police and sanitize it. But we're looking at a few things. So examples, Ubisoft putting down. The other one's exemption for games that are allowed to be played offline via games that allow offline play. So you don't sit there and say these are not licensed because they allow offline play, and those that are subscription services will not be affected by this law. So every Xbox game is going to be affected because you have to be connected for every digital Xbox game. I know because when my Xbox boots up, if it just blinks out when it's seeing the internet at the beginning, it will not let me play the game. It says you need to log in to do this. So every Xbox game will be affected. Those ones with subscription services, I imagine I'll probably put something in place to make sure it's clear that these have subscription services. Yeah, it's a bit of a shit one, I'll be frank with you.
This is why I hope Nintendo don't go down the full digital route with this new console, Switch 2 or whatever it's going to be. Because at the end of the day, I can grab my Switch, put the cards in, and play the games. I haven't got to be connected to the net. Yeah, there's updates if I want them, but I can still play the games. But I was laughing because you comment about Ubisoft pulling games from players' libraries and games being removed. Well, they need to start making some good games, don't they? Because people aren't buying their games. So, make some good games, and then, you can keep your servers going.
I think Ubisoft is going to be bought very soon.
Yes, 100%.
I think they're going to get bought. I think
they've just laid a load of people off again, haven't they? They just laid a load off again.
I don't know. I've got another story. We can go straight into it if you want. So let me press a button so I can put the thing through it. But as I said, to summarize, yes, put this on, and it's weird because it'll happen in California, and it's one of these places where if it happens in California, New York, London, Paris, I can't think of anywhere else, it would then kind of spread out into the wider market, if that makes any sense. And we'll get our version of it one way or another, or we'll get a law that will be put in place to say, hey, you don't own this. And for us, I know we'll go overboard with it because it will go games, music, and movies and TV series, which I think is needed because there's a lot of people who don't understand that they don't actually own these things. It's not like you can download it, pop on a hard drive. Don't know if you can ever do that. On that note, next story. Ubisoft employers told Ubisoft staff. No, Ubisoft employees strike over forced return to the office. So we've got an important story about Ubisoft employees in France. I'll have you know, and they're being urged to return to. They're being urged to go on strike next month over the company's changes to the remote working policy.
Yeah,
Ubisoft recently announced that their employees must return to the office 3 days a week. 3 days a week, Bapstar. Whew. Which has sparked outrage from workers' unions, especially after more than 5 years of efficient remote working. Please understand the following. I can't remember the last decent Ubisoft game that came out. I watched a video of a guy, he was trying to be very polite about Ubisoft and that, and he said the last game that they brought out that was any good was The Division.
Is it? I thought it was Black and White, the original one.
I don't know if EA did Black and White. I'm sure EA did Black and White. That's my nerd coming out now. There's a difference between a Greek and a geek and a nerd. Is like kind of nerd will go, I challenge you.
No, it's not. It's not. It's not black and white. That's not the game I'm thinking of. It's,
Black.
They were going to do a remake of it. I can't think of what it was called. Have a look.
Beyond Good and Evil.
That's the one. That's the one. Good man.
I have this.
That's the best game they've done.
Far Cry 3 was pretty good.
No.
Did you play Far Cry 3?
No.
Then you can't speak. That's one of the best bad guys ever in video game history.
Because I love the original Far Cry. I love that, and then it just went off on one, didn't it, with Far Cry 2?
Well, technically, Far Cry, the first one, spin-off is Crysis.
Crysis, yeah. It was like a tech demo, wasn't it? For it.
Yeah. It's weird because if you play that Far Cry, it looked fantastic. I remember buying a PC, getting a whole new graphics card just to play that game. But it didn't have ragdoll physics like in Half-Life 2. So when you shot someone, they just went all stiff and then died. Anyway, getting back to Ubisoft, French people being told to go back into the office. The strike details. The French Workers Union, STJF, has called for a strike from the 15th of October to the 17th of October. It should be next month. Opposing Ubisoft's decision for mandating 3-day office work week without consulting with employees. I think they can demand that you come back into the office. I'll be frank with you. It's not a hard thing, but it's like imagine being the owner of a company. I put this big office, lovely, put football table in there, big screen TVs, lots of meeting rooms. No fucker comes in. I'd be upset. Just think about the poor owners. And then think about your poor colleagues who actually do come into the office on a regular, early, to find out no one bloody comes in. It's not fun.
People have got used to it, haven't they, working at home since the pandemic?
COVID. Yeah, it's.
But,
I think that the advantage from working in an office away from your home is that you
Don't
drive
as much.
You don't subscribe as much. You drive there, and as you drive there, it creates like a little wall between home and work.
Yes,
and then you drive back, and it creates another wall between work and home. So work stays over there.
Separation.
And then
important for important for your mental health. It really is.
When some dickhead colleague phones you up at 20 to 7, you're free to ignore him. And I know that if you, for example, Australian law, they've got a thing where you can't be punished if you don't pick up a call or something outside your working time. So if someone says, hey, this is really important, blah, 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 and you're not scheduled to work then, it's not. But I think the biggest crime that Ubisoft has actually done is Star Wars Outlaws. Have you seen that?
Yeah, it's abysmal.
Oh, man. So the first things first is they got this beautiful woman. I can't remember where she's from. She's absolutely gorgeous.
Oh, yeah, they've uglified her, haven't they?
And they've beaten her with the ugly stick.
Yeah.
Because we can't have men being male, because that's bad.
We can't have women being attractive anymore.
Yeah, because that's bad.
That's bad.
Because that make all the ugly people feel horrible. Do you feel horrible because you're probably ugly on the inside? That's the worry. Yeah, if you feel I'm fucking ugly. Yeah, I'll live with it. I'm quite happy. Call it ignorance. It helps. It does. It helps. So they've got that there, and then they've got the debacle with Assassin's Creed Shadows. So, oh my God, there's DEI stuff. There's Sweet Baby Inc. stuff, and then there's just not having a fucking clue stuff. So everyone looked at Ghost of Tsushima and went, wow, that'd be great. You know what that looks like? That looks like an Assassin's Creed game set in Japan, and Sony managed to get there before them. So naturally, they jumped on the bandwagon, and then they went, do you know what this game really needs, set in Japan? There's a 6'4" black man in it, because diversity reasons. And I was like, no, it needs Japanese people in it. I want Japanese people in my Japanese game when I'm pretending to be Japanese. like being a. I'd like the idea of. I would like the idea of playing a ninja though, which would fit more with the assassins part of it than being a samurai, which is more like being the copper. But yeah, they did that, and yeah, they pulled out the Tokyo Game Show and other stuff going around that. But
Look, that
mm,
they've just got to keep doing it because they're the ones who are going to be losing the money.
mm, yeah, it's
Because then you look at what's it called, Helldivers and Space Marines.
Space Marine. Helldivers is how to
Making money.
what's it?
It's making money.
No, it's an example of clinching a victory from clinching defeat from the jaws of victory. Yeah, because they fucked that up because they removed Helldivers from a ton of Steam platforms worldwide. So they killed like a fifth of the player base. And it's either they wouldn't get on there, or the other part couldn't play with their friends, or another part was like, I don't like the fact that they've done this. And they've done some stupid things. But at the moment, going back to
I wonder if they've what they call baby
Sweet Baby Inc.
Sweet Baby Inc. I wonder if they've approached ID Software at all. You know, id Software.
I imagine they have.
And that Doom. We can't have that. Could you imagine? Could you imagine? Don't you touch my Doom. Don't you touch my Doom.
Doom's heavy metal. Doom is heavy metal.
If
I describe Doom, it's heavy metal. The problem with id Software is that they fucked over Mick Gordon. So Mick Gordon did the soundtrack for Doom and Doom Eternal, and fantastic. And I've seen him like just shred himself, get his guitar up and shred a few chords on stage doing the Doom music, but they fucked him over.
They did, and yeah, they did.
And it's funny because my son's quite into music, and he describes Mick Gordon as being the Hans Zimmer of the video game industry. Which is a weird thing to say, because if you look, all the really cool soundtracks that my son likes from video games are Mick Gordon tracks.
Nice.
I like this one. I like this one. Oh, they happen to be Mick Gordon. So it's just quite interesting, and I know that you get. There's like, I can't remember, I don't know how to pronounce his name, but he did the music for Bad Boys, and he also did the music for bloody Assassin's Creed 2. Lorne Balfe or whatever. You know, really good person. But yeah, coming back to this. Go back to the office, you lazy French bastards.
Yeah.
I get to say,
I have to go to work. It's at work.
I have to go to work. I have to drive all the way up one side of the country and then back down the other side of the country in the course of a day.
Because they want to just do the work in the pants. That's what it is.
Yeah. Because it's one day, for some reason, the director of your division decides to give you a meeting straight after another one. So you have to fly down the fucking motorway so you can meet him in person. And then he decides to work from home.
Oh.
It's not fair.
I've just got Ubisoft's games list up, and doesn't look good, does it?
No,
it really doesn't. Monopoly. Just
hang on a second. Would you like to let's pick on the Ubisoft a bit more with this next story?
Oh dear.
Star Wars Outlaw developer admits the game is not selling well. So yeah, Star Wars Outlaw developer Ubisoft's latest entry into the Star Wars universe is hasn't had a strong initial review and a solid Metascore critic. Oh my God, what did I write? The game isn't selling as well.
What did you write, man?
It's because I tried dictation doesn't work as well as you think. The game isn't selling as well as expected, and Ubisoft has admitted that the sales numbers are softer than they hoped for. Yeah, so the Metacritic score. So the Metacritic score is 76.
That high?
That high. That's the bit that got me. I was expecting to be 60 something. That's me being generous. Yeah. Um, the fans have rated it 3.9, which roughly is the same as the 76. So I think
3.9 out of
it's
what? 10.
5 out of 5. Um,
5.
yeah. So
Star Wars is dead, though,
it's
isn't it? Let's face it. Star
they've killed
Wars is dead.
what they should. What I would have done is very simple. I'd have created a Han Solo game just before he meets Luke Skywalker. That's what I would have done. And then the last mission on the game would be you get attacked by Imperials and you have to dump a load of cargo. And then Jabba the Hutt gets pissed off at you, and then you meet a strange old man in a bar.
So
That's all you had to do. That's
I mean,
all you had to fucking do. It's
No.
written for you, for fuck's sake. How can you drop the ball? It's a license to print money. Oh, no, because we want diversity, blah, 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 and we can't have a white male protagonist. Nonsense, bullshit, nonsense.
I could print money for him. Just do a Darth Vader game. That's it. Exactly the same as a series. Do a Darth Vader series. Do a Sith series. Do a Sith game where you just go around maiming everybody, showing your powers. I'd play. I would play that. I would buy it. I would buy that.
I think you get to play Darth Vader in one of the latest Star Wars games for a level.
No, I'm just saying a pure Darth Vader game, pure Sith game, where you get to be the bad guy. That'd be awesome.
But yeah, as I said before, because I'm just looking at this Star Wars Outlaws, thinking, how does that match up with actually what's going on? And it's, yeah.
Star Wars is dead, mate. It really is.
It doesn't help that this game is crap, because this is going to be sacrilege. I quite liked the first Star Wars Battlefield game. The one that came out recently on the PS, I think it was the PS4 when it came out. Not talking about all the way back in the day when you had the really good ones that everyone really enjoyed. When you had like Unreal Tournament.
You want about the one where they got done for all the loot boxes?
No, it's the one before that.
Wasn't that just Battlefront 2?
The Star Wars Battlefront. And then Battlefront 2 was the one with the loot boxes.
Yeah. Yeah, they were good games.
Yeah. I enjoyed that.
Well, the original ones were anyway.
Well, what do you call it? I just get annoyed because it's so easy. I could walk into this meeting and just write, just do this. Why? Because that's what's sold in the original. Just give them that. That's what they want. Go there. Just want that experience of making them feel, epic or whatever.
Look at when what was it? Rogue Squadron came out on the GameCube. How good was that?
It was the N64.
So good. N64.
N64. Yes. Oh no, there was another one.
There was a game. There was a game. There was
Rogue Squadron. The first one was on the N64 because I had that, and then the next one was on the thingy, and that was good too.
And you had one called Starfighter as well, I think, on the PS2. That was good.
And the other thing too is they brought out the Rogue Squadron game for VR. Oh crikey, I've gone out of focus. They brought out the Rogue Squadron game for VR, and they fucked it up.
Oh, it didn't work. I bought it for VR.
I did it, yeah, and it just didn't. Game didn't work. It wasn't the VR part didn't work. It was the game part didn't work. They had a blueprint from the VR mission from Battlefront, yeah, that which worked perfectly, brilliant. When everyone showed him on VR, I showed them that, and they went, "This is what I want." Yeah, it felt like I was sitting in the X-wing.
That was the first game I ever refunded on Steam. That was.
What was that? Because
I was promised VR and that it would work with my Hotastics. On release, and it didn't. So 10 minutes refund. I've done that before.
I did.
I've done that before.
I played it, and there was one level we have to take out Star Destroyer. I got angry, and I flew into the Star Destroyer. Do you know what happened? Can't have a guess what happened.
Oh, did it? You completed the game? Would use the Force.
I bounced off of it. I didn't explode into a fiery death ball in a kamikaze run, which I was actually trying to do. Yeah, I was getting annoyed because I bollocksed it up, and I was like, "Fuck it! If I'm going down like the guy who hits the the Superstar Destroyer in Return of the Jedi. That's what I was picturing in my head. I was picturing the guy in the A-wing screaming as he's flying out of control, hits the control deck of the Superstar Destroyer, which then crashes spectacularly. That's what I was looking for. Did I get that? No, I bounced.
Who play tests these games unless things just get they get forgotten about, don't they? It's like, oh no, we ain't got time to do that. We've got to get it out and get money off people and rip people off. And
so let's move on to our next one. N64. Hey? Assassin's Creed Shadows, Ubisoft game, delayed till 2025. Why some fans want it cancelled. So diving into the drama surrounding Assassin's Creed, Ubisoft has announced that the game will be delayed until February 2025. And some fans are furious, saying just cancel it. With the controversy brewing around the game's characters, its multiple delays, it's... So, I can't remember the guy's name. Do they put it... Well, for example, that ain't no fucking samurai. That guy there is based on one person who was in Japan at the time, and the historical records look like they've been changed. So, in a truly scary Orwellian twist in our world, someone has gone in and rewritten history to put this guy in. To which the Japanese are fucking furious, and I don't.
So there should be. So there should be.
Because they're rewriting their history for the sake of diversity, yeah? And this is coming back to what we were talking about earlier. This is what happens when you screw up the fucking basics, yeah? You could have had him in there as a boss, yeah? You could have had him in there as the chief bloody samurai's, what do you call it? I wouldn't say emperor. Yeah, emperor's bodyguard or something, yeah? Because he's a giant fucker, yeah? And everyone in Japan's like 5 foot nothing. But... in their infinite wisdom, yeah, this is the thing that gets me, yeah. When they advertised this, what kind of music do you think was playing? Do you think it was like with Ghost of Tsushima when they displayed it? They put it when they put their presser on, and they had the guy playing like kind
hip hop rap, aren't you? You're gonna say it's hip hop rap,
dude.
They did that with Gladiator. They did that. They've done that with Gladiator too. Exactly the same.
I don't want to sound rude or anything, yeah. Thinking one thing about a group of people, stereotyping them, is a form of racism as far as I'm concerned. Discrimination, all the horrible things that you do, and you still fucking do it because you think you're being cool. The other thing too is it's being delayed till February 2025. Why would you think it would be delayed till February 2025? What happens in America during the month of February? Which is the shortest month, I know. You know? It's Black History Month. I think Ubisoft's going to get bought very soon. I don't know who's going to buy it. Especially when their workers won't return to the office.
Microsoft will buy them, won't they?
No, Microsoft won't buy them.
I don't think so. They just buy anybody, though, don't they? Just for the sake of it. It's like land banking.
Bethesda was a good purchase for what they got for what they paid. Activision was a poor purchase for what they got for what they paid.
That's what I was referring to with them buying Ubisoft, is because they bought Activision. So,
but I don't think they can't afford to do another Activision. Yeah, if that makes any sense. The only reason they wanted Activision is because they wanted Candy Crush, and they wanted what do you call it? Call of Duty. Crikey. I've forgotten what it was called. It's that they wanted to do that. And I struggle, but who is going to buy this? I imagine Tencent. I reckon China will buy them. I really do. I reckon a Chinese company will buy them. Oh. And my camera's gone, but my camera's still on. Oh, you pillock! I forgot to plug it in.
You haven't charged it, have you?
No. I run it off. I plug it in. I charge the headphones up. Oh, you bellend. Why did that? It's obvious. I looked at the camera and why is it turning off? And it's like, oh yeah, that's why it's turning off. Let me put it back on. Cell Guard, I think, is fantastic. Here we go. And I should be back on screen in a moment. There you go. I should be fine for the rest of the podcast because Dipstick didn't plug it in. But yeah, it's... I don't get it. I really don't get it. It's... Play Ghost of Tsushima. Get a PC. Play Ghost of Tsushima on a PC. You'll enjoy it. But Ubisoft, I think Ubisoft are cooked as a company. I really do. I think it's game over, Ubisoft, and I think yeah, it's not good. So no one's coming to work. No one wants to buy Star Wars Outlaws. No one's interested in Assassin's Creed Shadows. They want it gone. You're fucked, mate. Yeah, it's you can't afford to have all these things. You're fucked. You've got to sell something and make some money quick. I suggest the cutlery in the office because no one's going in. They're not going to miss it. Shall we change livery? One of your stories, and I always come a cropper on your bloody stories.
Yes,
you always got that.
Loads of Atari stuff.
Yes, loads of Atari stuff. So we've got some exciting news for you retro gamers out there. The iconic ZX Spectrum from 1982 is making a comeback this November. The revived console is simply called the Spectrum and will include 48 built-in games like The Hobbit and Manic Miner, along with some awesome modern features like USB support. We'll have save slots, rewind option, yeah, which will be fantastic. Rubber keys? Has it got rubber keys? It's got to have rubber keys. It?
Yeah, it's got rubber keys. Yeah.
Is it gonna throw up randomly R-tape loading error?
That would be funny, wouldn't it?
It would if it's just like a little add-on there, and every so often it goes to load your game. It comes up with R-tape loading error, and then goes only joking, and then lets you play with your game.
That would be a great little Easter egg, wouldn't it? That you could enable that option. Yeah.
So it's November the 22nd this year. Available in UK and Europe for £89.99p. It's got 48 games. I'll have a look in there. It's got Football Manager 2 on there. Get Nigel to buy that.
Sold. That's it.
And then it's got a 40-second rewind feature. So if you fuck something up, you just Manic Miner. That'd be useful for. I didn't make a jump. You'd have killed for that back in the day. Really,
absolutely.
Absolutely killed for that rewind function. Yeah, it was described as nostalgia meets modern tech for fans who experienced the ZX Spectrum back in the 80s. This recreation brings nostalgia whilst offering features to make it more enjoyable for the new generation of gamer. So let's see if it got a list. Has it got a list of games on it? Has it got a list of games? 48 games.
There should be.
I think it's a video. So just on the list. I don't think it's got a list. I think it's on the video. I bet if I run this video, it'll be on the video. I'm going to run the video, but I'm going to turn the audio off because I have copyrighted music on there. It should hopefully. Let's pop that up there. Let's make it a bit bigger.
What a decent video, really.
If only they were made like that, that'd be awesome.
I mean, have you spotted what's on top? It doesn't say Sinclair.
Doesn't it?
Oh, it is retro. Because Sinclair is owned by Sky.
Ah, okay. Ah, alright. Oh my god, it's got the original Alien in there.
Yeah. Oh, it's got some good games.
Alien.
Yeah. It's got some good games.
There you go. Authentic rubber keys. That's what you need.
Yeah.
720? I'm in gypped there.
720. You know, some people will say that when they look at that. Oh, it's only 720. Wasn't it 4K? You know what I mean? They will. Oh,
like, they don't understand that the resolution on that thing was tiny. I mean, tiny. It wasn't even. It
It was the fact that you had to tune it in for a start through RF.
Oh my word! I didn't have to do that with my Amstrad because it came with its own monitor.
Yeah, well, you did with the Specky. You had to tune it in.
Like you had to do it with the Nintendo and the Atari and the Mega Drive.
I mean,
That's how we got to SCART.
I still had my black and white TV, which I think only had 5 channels. So yes, it would have been number 5.
Yeah.
All the days of Channel 5 coming along. Well, I think it was before Channel 4 came along as well. To be honest,
I started working when Channel 5 came along. I remember because they started showing Xena Warrior Princess on a Saturday, and I'd get home to get like halfway through whatever episode it was on, and I just remember that whilst trying to get some food.
but I think it's going to do well, but I think in the retro community, I think people will buy it just because
Yes, Becky.
it's a device, yeah. Even though they've got Spectrums, which they'll use, but I think it'll just sit on the shelf. I think this is more aimed for people who aren't in the scene as such, who will spot it in the shops or in adverts, and they'll be like, "Oh, I had one of those when I was a kid." And then buy it, play it for 10 minutes, and then I think that'll be it. I do think it'll sell well, but I'm expecting a lot to end up on eBay, if I'm perfectly honest.
So telling everyone to wait. That's your advice. Wait. They'll be on eBay from the people who bought it, played it for a bit, and then put it away. And then when you're bored, then sell it on eBay.
Because the thing is, you can. It's not like a lot of the other mini consoles that have come out. They still go for a fair bit of money. Speckies, you can. They made so many of them, and they're quite easy to repair. You can pick up an original one on eBay for probably less if you look at it.
Yeah, I've seen the
It's just the convenience. It's just the convenience. You know what I mean? You've got 48 games. You haven't got to mess around with tape decks and try and load the tapes. But that sort of that was part of the experience. Waiting 2 or 3 minutes of loading the game. I don't know if you can do that within that console. That'd be interesting if you can have that experience.
Yeah. And that image going.
Yeah, that's it. Your loading screen. Because you didn't get that with Amstrad, did you? I think it was a very, very low volume. 64, you didn't get no loading sounds at all.
I think it gave you a loading sound up initially, so you knew it was working, and then it stops.
Then it stopped.
So you get the sound. So right, okay, this is running, and then it went away, and then it didn't, which is far more pleasant on one's ears, I have to say.
Yeah. Part of me wants to buy it, but then the other part makes me think, well, I've already got various models. One thing I will say though, is it also comes with in the UK only, comes with a Crash magazine, a little A5 magazine. Crash.
Oh, your friends at Crash. Awesome.
So that's pretty cool. And it's also going to be available at the event as well in November. Crash event.
Your friends again.
Aye. But
yes.
if I see one for 40 quid, I think I'll just buy one.
Yeah.
Because I remember when the PlayStation that came out that everybody hated,
yeah,
the mini PlayStation, that went down to 25 quid, and I wish I'd have picked one up. But that's like 80, 90 quid again now.
Yeah, it's this is what's going to happen. It's going to come out, and within a week, someone's going to hack it, and you're about to put every kind of fucking ROM on under the sun on it.
I think you can do that anyway. I think you can put your own games on there anyway, because it's got the USB slots for you to do it. Yeah, I think you can do that anyway. So you'll just read them straight off your USB. Obviously, they've got to be legal backups of all the tapes you've got.
always bothered me about emulation, yeah, because it was like having emulator on like my set up my work laptop. So when I went away somewhere boring like Keighley or Leeds, and I was sitting in a hotel room, I'd play games on that. But it was a case of I have this game. How the hell do I back it up and turn it into a ROM? Was the question, because I've got a ton of games up in my loft. I've got a shit ton of PS2 games and a shit ton of GameCube games. And I'd love to be able to swap them over and have my own ones so I don't have to download them from anywhere. But you have to go to some dodgy back alley website to get the ROMs of something that you already actually genuinely own. And I find that mad. And I don't know why I can't back them up myself. It's a weird thing. It's a strange strange thing because there's some PS2 games that I would like to play again. There's one called Second Sight. Have you heard that one?
Yeah.
By the same people who did
It's all down to
Time
what reader.
Splitters.
It's all down to your reader and your PC software. But it's possible to make legal backups.
Yeah.
It's not impossible. But
Yeah.
that's because they've all got, they've got some form of copy protection on them. So it stops you from.
Yeah. So I find that a bit weird. Anyway, you could download them illegally and it's quicker to do that. It would be. Excuse me, to convert them over to a ROM. Okay, let's move over to our next story. I've got to cracky. Hang on a second. That works as a pretty good bump. We've got some exciting news about the Super Sega, an all-in-one FPGA console that promises to bring back Sega's classic consoles like the Master System, Mega Drive, Saturn, and even the Dreamcast. But can this ambitious project deliver? With the expected price to be either $400 to $450 and a potential licensing deal with Sega, we need to have a look at some of these details. So, this all-in-one Sega revival, the Super Sega. When it says run games, because I didn't have as much time to look at it as I wanted, are we talking?
We're talking cartridges and a disk drive.
Awesome.
Yeah. And if you look at, can you see what it's modelled on as well?
Yeah, the Master System version Model 1.
Yeah.
I'm so nerdy, I know it's the Model 1 and not the 2, which has got the big kind of dome top instead.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
But I'll really like to look at this. I hope this comes off. The fact that if you've got a collection of games, and you can, I mean, like myself, because I've got consoles everywhere, I could literally just box them back up and just have that out.
Yeah. No, it's a good idea, and it's ironic because the conversation we're having about backing up and using ROMs because you've got the original games and stuff kind of goes with it. See, what I would do with this to keep Sega happy is I would have this, so this emulates the games as you want, yeah? So you can plug it in. If you own the game, you plug it in, it runs the emulator, but, and this is the bit where you're going to go, oh, Gareth, that's a terrible idea, but Sega can sell you the games to play on it. So they can get ROMs that they've made, and then they can sell those ROMs to you to make to play on it.
No, I'd rather them do what Atari are doing at the moment. They're making brand new physical Atari 2600, 7800 games. I'd rather them do that. Because if you've got the console, then you can start releasing cartridges again with boxes.
But people,
that's what Atari are doing.
But this is the thing: is how much are those cartridges going for? Is the next question.
At 25 quid. Between 25 and 29 quid. So they're still cheaper than trying to get hold of a particular retro game, or still cheaper than a brand new digital game. You can hold it and you.
See, because if you said that, I got a horrible feeling that Sega we wound up charging about 70 quid. And the worst thing is, they charge you 70
What?
quid for, hang on a second, for a Dreamcast game with the original disc and whatnot, but they put it in that stupid fucking jewel case that snaps bloody easily when you
Yeah,
open up
yeah.
the thing to get your game out.
Thing is, though, Master System games, they came on card and cartridge. Mega Drive was cartridge, and then Saturn and Dreamcast was disc. But they were only well, Dreamcast was CDRs and Saturn DVD, like PlayStation. No, they were CDRs, weren't they? Yeah, they were CDRs.
GD-ROMs, no, Saturn, sorry, you said. There was, yeah, sorry, there
Yeah,
were CDs.
yeah, CDs. Yeah.
I thought you said Dreamcast then, which were GD-ROM ones. My bad. I don't know. I don't know if this will happen. I'm gonna be honest with you.
I
Part of
really
me's
do.
like,
I do. I hope it does. I hope it does. To have an all-in-one, that's a great idea.
they've talked about all-in-one since early 2000s when we moved away from cartridge to disc, and apparently on the Mega Drive, the Model 1 Mega Drive, yeah, if you took the case off of it, you could insert a Master System cartridge in there and have it run. It was pre-built to be backwards compatible, but because of the slot hole, it wasn't. I have to check out how true that is. Did you know that? I'm going to check out, because now I'm going to have to go back and check this, because it was like, I'm sure I watched someone like...
On a Mega Drive 1?
That's the one with the big circle. Not the one that you could put the disc next to it quite easily with the Mega CD and the Mega 32 add-on.
Yeah, because the thing is as well, the cartridge slot was slightly different on the UK one compared to the Japanese one.
That was the problem, is the fact that the cartridge slot wouldn't fit the Master System. That's why you had that weird like plastic triangle thing over with the reset button in there, so it would fit into the cartridge slot. It was just an adapter.
I thought they were smaller. I haven't got a Master System, you see, so I can't really picture it, but I thought they were smaller, squarer cartridges. They were almost like Atari ones.
They were roughly the same. I have to say, cartridge-wise, Master System and Mega Drive cartridges are, I think, better aesthetically than the Nintendo ones. I think I like the Famicom, not the Famicom, the NTS version of the Super Nintendo cartridges more than the PAL and the Japanese version, where it's kind of a bit more curved than that. But they were smaller and more compact, and they just felt a bit more special, if that made any sense.
Yeah.
When it came to those cartridges in comparison. Not big things, it's a more personal kind of preference when it comes to
I mean,
to these
I only
things.
ever bought the Japanese Mega Drive games anyway, mainly because the artwork was always better. And they always ran in 60 hertz, so everything ran quicker over the PAL ones.
It's odd. I've heard this before. Yeah, I've heard this before. I don't think it's gonna happen. I think you're more likely to get Sega release like a mini Dreamcast.
That's what people want, isn't it? I mean Dreamcast, but I don't know. Never say never with this. At the end of the day, Sega haven't got a console out there, have they? They haven't got nothing.
No, they haven't. But we'll have a look into it later. Anyway, let's move on to our next story. Project X Light Years. Project X Light Years is the official entry in the Project X series developed in partnership with Team 17. It's the spiritual successor to the classic Project X, a game that's popular amongst retro gaming enthusiasts. The Kickstarter campaign raised £8,719 from 303 backers, surpassing its goal of 5,000 pounds. The campaign ran from July 29th to September 2024. That's a real short window. That is. I usually expect these things to run about for like 6 months or so, especially when it comes to these things.
No, Kickstarters, they don't. They have a short campaign. They do. They don't have long to raise the money.
Okay.
Did you ever play Project X? This was mainly an Amiga game, you see.
Oh no! If it was a Amiga game, no, I didn't.
Yeah.
Didn't.
It was a real. It was a real popular shoot 'em up on the Amiga. Famous for its soundtrack and gameplay and graphics. So we've got this fan made version of. So have you got any footage? Yeah.
No. So I'm gonna just turn the volume down so you can hear us.
It does look good.
Yeah, it reminds me of Gradius. Gradius? Yeah, it's just Gradius.
Yeah, it's all in that kind of shoot 'em up aesthetic.
Yeah, it's
it's a fan project at the end of the day, but it's getting some good backing. I mean, I've just recently read that Chris Helsbeck, who did the Turrican games and did a lot of stuff with Factor 5, he's going to be writing some music for it. And I think the original musician, Alistair Brimble, I think if it hits one of the stretch goals, I think he's going to do some music for it as well. So it's gaining some traction. I was going to back it, but there's one reason why I haven't backed it. It's digital only. Digital only. I was expecting a physical. Now I've got the original. I have actually still got the original physical version. It would have been nice to have had this, but I'm hoping it does well. So Nintendo get hold of it, do a Switch version, and then and then maybe a limited run games version of it.
Yeah, so you can have a nice big physical copy. It's got giant Stargates in there. They've got to be cared for. They look like Stargates.
Well,
not Space Gates. Yeah, it looks quite good. I was never really into the side-scrolling shooters, I'll be frank with you. I always don't like the idea that one shot kills me, but I have to the enemies have to take multiple. That always just pissed me off. It's just like, hang on a second, it's a little unfair.
Yeah, but the whole point is to upgrade your ship and upgrade your firepower, isn't it? So.
Yeah, but I always think if you're playing a game where you can't one-shot an enemy, even if it requires skill to one-shot them, you're either using the wrong weapons or the game design's not quite to my standard. It
depends on what mechanics they put into the game. I mean, if they give you a shield, that drains. I'm trying to think if they have. Oh, you've got energy if you look at that. So I'm guessing when you get shot, you don't die straight away. It just knocks your energy down.
Yeah.
Got 3 lives, I can see. There's a P, 6 out of 15, 7 out of 15. So I'm not sure what happens when you reach that target.
It must be like a power-up sort of thing.
Yeah. But it is looking good. I do like. I was a bit unsure of the graphic aesthetic at first, because the backgrounds look painted, yet the sprites are
cartoony.
More cartoony, aren't they?
Yeah, because it's it's. Hang on a second. If we go back, just go back here.
Where's the original Project X? Because it's all Amiga graphics. It all molds together. Whereas I'm still struggling with whether the background sort of match the graphics. I mean, sounds a bit silly.
Yeah,
As long as the
no,
game's
no.
good, but
The game looks good. The game,
mm,
from what they've shown, they've done what they can and cut a really good kind of clear cross section
yeah.
on what's happening there. I don't think it's too much. I think this looks more cartoony than the other bits. That kind of fits that there. I
The
can see
backgrounds are
why.
lovely. The backgrounds are
Oh, they
really,
are.
really nice.
So
And
yeah, it's
I really would like to back it, but I want a physical version. So I'm hoping it does well because I think limited run games will get hold of it and they'll do a physical version, and then I'll just have to wait 2 years for it.
yeah. Like I always in my head when you talk about limited run games, it's always a case of it's how can I put it? It happens and then you forget about it, and then all of a sudden something arrives in the mail. And then
Well,
you've
you
got
get an
that.
email. You get an email first, and it's like, "Oh, this is getting ready to be dispatched," and you're like, "Oh, bloody hell, I forgot about that."
Yeah. It's yeah, so what the fuck? But yeah, it's that. So
Well, it looks like
I
it's going to be happening anyway.
yeah.
It's already smashed its goal. So what they'll do now, they'll just keep upping different tiers for it to meet. And I hope it meets the Alistair Brimble tier, whatever that's on. So then you get the original musician. That'd be nice to have.
Yeah, it would be. It's yeah, and you've put in. Hang on a second. Yeah, I hope it works out, and I hope it'll be good. It's it looks. I'm not into those sort of games, but it looks quite well done. If that
Yeah,
makes any sense.
yeah,
I
yeah.
know that if you look at some of the Japanese games, they go mental, and I mean absolutely
Well,
mental. Like
they're the bullet.
Ikaruga.
Oh,
Sorry.
they're the bullet hell games. No, I love those.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
absolutely love them. But again, it's a you either love that type of game or you don't.
Mm.
That's they're Twitch controls. Your controls have got to be right. You're not playing one of those on a pad. It's got to be a proper joystick. For those type of games, and they do rely as well on system slowdown as well. Some of those games, because there'll
Okay.
be that many bullets on the screen that the system does slow down, but that helps you weave your way out, find a path from all the bullets.
So Fallout 76 had a bug where speed was attached to your frame rate.
Okay.
So people were finding if you look down at the ground, you could run like Sonic the Hedgehog across the map. Because there,
Okay.
that's what that sounds. That's when you said that. That's what the first thing that popped into my head was that problem that they had in there. And now I'm thinking, God, if you got a decent PC, because of the distance in time, that's not going to work at all. It's going to be the opposite. It's going to be proper bullet hell, bullet hell.
It was always the thing with the shooters on arcades that you get to a point where there'd be that many sprites on the screen that the board just slowed down, but it helped you play the game.
I love it. Now, if there's a dip in frame rate, everyone complains.
Yeah, yeah. But back then it was part of it. I mean, now
weird.
you'd have to add it
Do you know,
as an option now, wouldn't you? You'd have to add it as an option.
do you know what the equivalent is in old guitar amps when you had valves and you could use it to do overdrive and stuff? It's like that, but for video games.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense. So when you sit there and you play it, the valves would warm up and then they'll cause distortion, and that distortion would then they describe as overdrive, I think.
It's like me using my Speccy Next on a modern screen. Yet within the menu, you can add fake scan lines.
Yeah.
So I run mine with 25% scan lines just to give me the CRT effect.
So should give you the magnet option too. Magnet.
So one of the TVs behind me, one of the CRTs behind me. I now did I show you that Amiga ball that I won that Rob Smith Dev made? It's like a
No.
ball and it floats. It's got a magnet either side, and it looks like it's floating and it spins. Well, I put it on top of the TV, didn't give it a thought, and then I plugged in my Mega Drive, and the screen just warped, and I just had rainbow colours, and I'm like, shit. And because you used to have like on some monitors, you used to have like a degauss option, didn't you? On some of the old CRT monitors. And I was like, oh man, I've ruined my telly. And luckily, I just turned it off and left it for a week, turned it back on, and it resolved itself. But it must have had some kind of auto degaussing in there. But I thought I'd destroyed my telly.
Oh dear, that's
and that there's a story behind that TV as well, coming all the way from the Netherlands. So,
oh no, not Ireland. I'm not a big fan of Holland.
Yeah.
Story for another time.
Yeah, story for another time.
Involves oranges. and a cheap flight out of Schiphol. I've been to Schiphol. Yes.
Schiphol?
Yeah, Schiphol. Let's move on to to one other thing that you want to talk about, and then a plug. So, it's a bit hard to write notes on this because you're just spooging over a product page.
Yeah, it was all I could find. It's quite an old story now because it was only available they was only showing it in America. Yeah, it's another remake console, Atari 7800, but it takes the real cartridges, and you can plug your 2600 cartridges in there as well. I don't think it's 100% compatible. Yeah, you get the little wireless joypad. That's a wireless, yeah, CX40 wireless joystick as well. That's a new version of Berserk. So yeah, so this is what I was saying, where Sega could go down this route and release new serials, but wireless, and they could release new manufactured cartridges and boxes.
I don't know how well it's going for Atari, but yeah, it's an option. You kind of got to see it like the vinyl market, if that makes any sense. This is the vinyl market for gamers.
Yes.
Yeah, that's that thing is. So there is a market. So like, remember when?
Oh, there's definitely a market.
No, there was no vinyl in HMV, which is still around surprisingly, and then HMV is now the thing because that's the thing that people want to collect, and that's the kind of thing that they're relying on for their business model.
Because of vinyl, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it's.
But they seem to be doing really well with their mini consoles that they're releasing. I mean, they've already done a slightly smaller version of the 2600. There's the what was the mini one? Was it 6 Atari 65XE console that they've released?
It's
400. So the Atari 400, they've released that one, which is the old computer version. Yeah, we've got this console. Now, I was more interested in buying this one than the Specky because I never owned the 7800 because
I know I own the 2600.
So did everybody else.
Yeah, this came out roughly when the Nintendo came out because
Nintendo had swallowed up the market by then.
Yeah. Oh look! Hey, look!
I know, yeah. They bought that and then bought
And
the
then the
Spectre.
Spectrum, and then
All your
Space Jam.
collectors are buying them. All your collectors, just to sit on the. All these will be sat on shelves at the back of YouTubers' man caves,
Yeah,
just so you can see them on the stream.
yeah. Sorry, I didn't get it. They're Alien. Alien Girl. Oh, okay. I thought it was Alien because I know there was a Spectrum version of Alien.
I don't know if that's a new game. That one
What,
just
Alien
looked at
Girl?
that wasn't an original game. Might be a new title for the machine.
Oh. But you can see that, sorry, just the Alien Girl Skirmish Edition. Ant Attack, Army Moves, Alvida Zane,
You see that saboteur,
Monty.
the saboteur image as well. That's
Yeah,
you go up and then right.
yep.
That's the Spectrum Next DVD cover. That's not the original cover, Spectrum cover, which is interesting. So I don't know if they've used that because of some kind of copyright issue.
Might be a copyright issue.
They
Be
would have had to have tread carefully. But yeah, I like the look of that. I don't think I want to pay 110 quid for it. If that goes
No.
down to about 80 quid, I think I'll be all over that.
Yeah, no, I think I think I think I'm a bit more interesting actually. There's something I just saw there.
Oh, the little pocket one.
I'm sure we looked at this before.
We did. I was trying to get into mine.
Yeah. Yeah, crikey. Trying to give me to 7,800. That's cool.
And then there's that version as well. Atari Game Station. I think we've talked about on the channel before.
Yeah.
So I love the look of that.
Yeah,
Like,
it's two buttons. One that turns it on, and the other one takes it home. Yeah, that's the one. That's what we.
that was the one.
Last time.
That was the one. Yeah, 40 quid or $40.
Yes. Yeah. Sorry, I was traveling back in time. Anyway, spurging too much over these Atari things. You wanted to.
Oh yes,
Bring up something.
did. Let's get the light on.
Okay. Shall I turn mine off to make it look like it's got limited power?
All good. So on the Speccy Next, we had a game that came out, TX1696, and the soundtrack was written by Richard Faulkner, a man in his techno shed, and this is his brand new vinyl, and it's available on technoshedsoftware.com. Splatter vinyl.
Oh!
So we
Don't scratch it for crying out loud. Oh, that is... Oh, dude, it's just worth getting it because how cool that looks.
And the way we designed it was, so like the Guardian when you put it out.
Cool.
There you go. So that's available on the TechnoShed software site. I think it's on there for £30 at the moment.
Yeah.
Well worth the purchase. Wanted to plug that for Richard.
Oh, that's good. Ooh, look at you. Ooh, press the wrong button. I like the vinyl, the clear vinyl with stuff in it. That's great. That's really.
It sounds so nice as well. They've really done a good job of the production on it. So good.
Is it 33 or 45?
It's 33.
Okay. I have to ask because I haven't used a record player in ages and I can't remember which one's which. And I'm sure 33 is the long play and 45 is the short play for singles.
Yeah.
or if you've got an EP, it'd be 45. So, but okay, cool. That's good. All right, I think we should wrap it up here and say goodbye. Thank you very much for listening, and thank you very much for watching, and we will catch you next podcast. Goodbye.
Ta-ra!